What's good? God is good. I'm your host, Jay Did It. Welcome to Thursday Therapies, a podcast for all creatives, writers, rappers, poets, artists, activists, Sacramento Community Therapy Session. Today we have Tasha Nicole, an artist, praise dance dancer, former director of Praise Dance Ministry, whose work lives at the intersection of faith, healing, and embodied expression. Raised in church and shaped by gospel, jazz, and soul, she uses movement and visual arts as sacred tools for emotional release, reflection, and restoration. Through her creativity and community leadership, Tasha creates gentle, honest spaces where healing unfolds through presence, process, and worship. Welcome to Thursday Therapies.
Thank you, Jamie. That was a beautiful
Yes.
introduction. I appreciate
Yes,
you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Welcome to Thursday Therapies. I'm glad you were able to make it. I met you a few weeks back at the Women's Fellowship. Shout out Miss Mariana. That was amazing experience, and we hit it off. When we were having our conversation, I just knew that you were going to be a great guest on Thursday Therapies. So
Thank you.
thank you for showing up. I know life be lifing, and you still, took your time out to come and meet with me. So thank you
Yes,
so very much.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Yes.
We did have we just hit it off
Right.
at the Women's Fellowship. So
I love it. I
thank
love it. So how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Like we were talking about, life be lifing.
Yes.
Just dealing with some caregiving. With some family members and trying to take care of them and then also take care of myself and
Right.
remember to get that rest that I
Absolutely.
need so I can be present and do what I need to do to care for my loved ones. So,
Yes, that's beautiful.
but other than that, I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you. So, as you know, Thursday Therapies is a podcast for bringing awareness to mental health. I want to ask you some questions, have a conversation, and let the world just get to know who Tasha Nicole is and, just hit it off and bring more awareness to mental health.
I'm ready. Let's
You
do it.
ready? Are you ready? Okay,
Yeah.
so you grew up in Del Paso Heights, North Highlands. Shout out Del Paso Heights and North Highlands. Whoop whoop. But what did home life feel like for you as a child?
Home life was fun. I grew up with my brother, my mom, and my stepdad who adopted me when I was 7.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm 7 years older than my brother.
Okay.
And so prior to my brother coming on board, I was the only child, and so I did a lot of creative play, imaginary play. So my mom just kind of let me just kind of do what I wanted to do and just be
Nice.
free in that. She didn't judge me. She didn't try to embarrass me. Like who's she talking to?
Nice.
She just kind of let me be. She would, play with me sometimes or whatever. And then I grew up listening to music all the time and going to church. I think probably since I was born, going to
Nice.
church. So always had that foundation. And yeah, did sports growing up. And so home was good. It was, I was pretty much a homebody most of the time. And so watching movies, watching TV,
Okay.
listening to music, doing creative play.
Yeah, that sounds like a nice, rounded home for you. That's good. A lot of people would say, growing up in those areas are tough.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you ever have to face any adversities or?
Not really. And it's funny that you say that because my dad was just asking me, did I ever get bullied? Um, and I was like, no. He was wondering in high school, did I get bullied? I was like, no one messed with me, thankfully. I know there were things that happened to people that I know, but personally, no. I will say, um, when I was younger, living with it was just me and my mom at the time. We were living across the street from my grandmother in Del Paso Heights. We did have a break in.
Mm.
So I don't know how much of that like imprinted on me as a
Okay.
young age. I do remember coming in the home and seeing it trashed. So that probably instilled a little bit of fear, but it never did like impact me that much.
Right.
So things like that, but we were safe and that was the main
Nice,
thing.
nice. I like hearing that, because you hear a lot of other people's stories and it doesn't sound like that. So
Right.
you definitely were protected.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
a blessing. That's definitely a blessing. So, what did home life feel like? How did church and gospel music become part of your life? Let me see.
The choir.
Oh, okay.
Growing up in the Baptist church, I love music, like I said, and so I was always part of the youth ministry, part of the choir, um, singing on Sundays, choir rehearsals,
Yeah.
and visiting other churches and singing, going to musicals. That was my favorite part of church. besides, praise dancing.
Right, right.
And so that also helped, like, um, helped with my faith. Through the music, through the gospels, through the hymns.
Yeah.
It was an easier way for me to, like, remember scripture, or remember, some of those things that would, like, help me as growing up. If I need a word, I would
Right.
go to the music,
Nice.
and that would help me through those times. So,
I never thought of it like that. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
that's nice. That's
I
nice.
mean, I could read a scripture, but if it's in a song,
Right, you're gonna remember it for life. Yep,
exactly.
yep, definitely. So, what role did R&B, soul, and jazz play in forming your emotional world today?
Hmm, that's a good question. Forming my emotional world, I think, like, when it comes to jazz, there's so many different elements and sound, and it's kind of like your emotions. There's so many emotions that
Right,
you go through on a day to day within an hour. Maybe you're sad at 6 o'clock, and then 8 o'clock you're so happy. You don't know
right,
why. And
right,
jazz music is kind of like that journey. So emotions are a journey. They come and go, right? It's like energy and motion. So through the music, it helps you feel,
yeah,
certain emotions,
nice.
and tap into that part of yourself. So
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. I love that. What about R&B music?
dancing.
Just more dancing, dancing.
Yeah, definitely. R&B, that soul. Um, you just want to have a groovy night.
Right,
Relaxing. Um, love ballads, things like that. So yeah, when
definitely.
you got that
Yes,
crush on
yes.
that boy, and
Definitely, it's a definitely a different feeling. Love put you in a different place
right,
and takes you to a different world.
right,
Definitely,
yeah,
always love, always spread love. I love that.
yes.
I love that. So, as a child, when did creativity start calling you?
Mm.
You're pretty grounded. You're pretty grounded,
I
and
I couldn't tell you what age, maybe 3, 4. Okay, so I do remember this. I was in preschool, and shout out to North Avenue. I don't know if that school still exists, but we were all supposed to be taking naps on our little cots. I don't know if anybody remembers those green cots,
I
but
remember
anyway.
the cots.
And instead, I had the whole class up singing,
Oh
and I got in trouble for it. And they called my mom. She's like, she's being disruptive, but that kind of, like, leaves a bad imprint on a child. Like, I'm trying to sing,
wow!
you don't want
Right,
to take a nap.
right.
We're having a good time. So I would say maybe that's my early memory of, being creative. And then people might laugh at this, but my favorite movie of all time is Annie, and I would watch that all the time.
It's funny you say that. I love that movie, and I just on Friday, a friend of mine's daughter was in the play of Annie. It was amazing. Those
Right?
kids are amazing. I think it's age 6 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
They were amazing. That is
Yeah.
such a good musical.
Yeah, I love it. The acting, the music.
Yes,
So I wanted to be an actress at a very young age. So and I wanted to be a dancer as well.
yes,
And so I would watch that every Sunday. We come home from church, putting on Annie. I think I drove my parents crazy, but
yes.
so
Do you like the newer version with Jamie Foxx?
it's okay. But I
She
still,
said it's okay.
it's cute.
It is. It is.
But the original, that has my heart,
Yes,
hands
absolutely.
down.
It's hard. It's hard to move on to a remake, but the storyline is still the same, and it's still a blessing. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, for sure. So, speaking of creativity, what did performing in church give you at a young age?
Like, it gave me confidence,
Yes.
and freedom,
Right.
to express myself, and an outlet, a safe space
Yes.
to be creative, and but definitely the confidence definitely helped with leadership abilities, which it may have seemed like I was natural at it, but
Right.
I had practice,
Yeah.
so it was like my training ground.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
It seems like you were, aligned with your calling for a long time
Hmm.
since you were born.
And yes.
Definitely. Definitely, definitely. So, when did praise dance enter your life, and what did movement unlock in you?
So I remember the day. I think it was 1998. It was my brother and my cousin and I. We were hanging out in my apartment, and Kirk Franklin it's my favorite gospel artist.
Yes.
And so we were listening to More Than I Can Bear.
Mm.
And we just came up with this idea to just start putting movement to the words. And we started practicing, and we came up with a routine. And then we took it to the church and was like, "Can we perform this on Sunday morning?" And they said yes. And the church was just in awe of what we did. It was a basic. Now that I look back, I was like, it was a basic praise dance, but it was kind of like the start of when people started to praise dance.
I love that.
And so it just, again, it unlocked like freedom, um, and being able to have a way to take God's word and showcase it in a different way.
Right.
You know, people learn and receive information differently. You know, yes, you have the preacher, which serves a purpose. You know, you have the choir, which serves a purpose. But through the dance and through the movement, you know, you're able to tap into another part of a person, you know, through their heart space. Right. And so that's what it helped for me. That's what it helped to unlock in me, and being able to just really express myself.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. How did stepping into leadership as a praise dance director shape you?
Okay, so lately I've been saying I don't have a lot of patience. I think I'm more tolerant than patient. But when I look back at the time of being a praise dance director and choreographer, I had a lot of patience, and I worked with a lot of teenagers and young kids, you know, 8, 9, 10,
Oh, you
all the
definitely
way
have
up
to
to
have some
20
patience.
something years old. And, you know, people would come in and be like, I would have been done, like, cancel this rehearsal or whatever.
No.
But I'm like, no, you can't do that to the babies, right? They're going through stuff, you know. You got to give them time, and you got to give them space, to in safety,
right.
You know. So having rehearsals with the girls, I had a couple of boys on the praise dance team as well. You know, coordinating. You know, we're going to go visit a church. We've been invited to, you know, go dance somewhere, and then putting together the choreo, teaching the choreo. You know, it just really helped me be a patient person. It helped me kind of balance and navigate and coordinate, and be able to advocate for the kids, you know, and get them out there, you know, not just tied into these four walls of this particular church, but we got to, you know, do a little traveling and things like that. So, yeah, I loved working with the kids.
Oh, that's a blessing too, because a lot of kids, you know, their neighborhood is all they get to see sometimes. So being able to, you know, take that extra step and getting them out of their neighborhood, and like you said, those four walls, it opens up a whole new world for them.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, I have sons, and so, you know, they became like my daughters, you know, and they really, they respected me, and I respected them, and we built trust.
Yes.
So I think that's another part of it, is building that trust with the young people.
Absolutely.
You know, and listening to them. It helped me be a better listener.
Yes. And working with kids is a blessing.
Yes.
It's a blessing, but you do have to have a lot of patience.
Yes.
I love the kids too.
So maybe I have more patience when it comes to the young ones and not with the adults.
Right.
They
should know better.
You know.
They should know better by now, you would think.
But they're still dealing with the inner child stuff, so I get it. You know, I'm learning.
Yes.
Who am I dealing with? The 7-year-old you, or you know, because we have that part of us that we still need to take care of and parent and heal and nurture.
Right.
So,
and it does come out sometimes.
It does.
You know, depending on what you got going on in your life, that baby still needs love.
Oh, yeah. And then don't let the rebel teenager come out.
Right. Right, that part.
My 16-year-old self, oh boy, if I let her speak, no, girl, sit down. No, we are not going to say that, okay?
Yes.
I know you feel that way, so I found a way to let all those parts have a way to express itself.
I love that.
Where I don't hurt anybody.
Yes, and that's a part of healing. That's a part of you're healing who you are today, but you're still healing, you know, those little girls inside of you for sure.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful. So, how has faith remained a grounding force through your years?
Ooh, it's like I said, from the womb, from a baby, just having that access to that, being in that environment, in growing up in the church. I don't practice going to church as much now, but it definitely was a good foundation for me, to have that relationship, that personal relationship, you know. in the beginning, I would say it was more like practical, what you're being taught in church. But then over time, it just really, I understood what having that personal
Right.
relationship with God, the divine, what that
Absolutely.
means. And so it definitely keeps me grounded. I'm talking to God all the time, all day,
Yeah.
and getting that guidance, listening to that inner voice, that inner wisdom. Sometimes I miss it,
Right.
and so I've learned that God will speak to me in different ways. Maybe it's a little whisper in my ear, or maybe it's through someone else, or maybe
Right.
it's a billboard. I've seen a lot of messages on billboards.
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
oh,
Oh
that's
yeah.
for me. Oh my gosh. It could be one word or something like that. So yeah, it's just kind of broadened that. But definitely, sometimes my faith does waver. That's sort of where the impatience comes in. I'm like, okay, God, you said,
Right.
how
Right.
long? How much longer?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
God's like, not yet, child. But then, something will happen and be like, okay, I'm on the right track.
Yes.
So with my art
Definitely.
practice, it was like, I know I just didn't quit my job for no reason. Like,
Right.
what?
Right.
Come on now. And things will happen and things will show up. And I'm like, okay. And it just strengthens my faith,
I
grows
love
my
that.
faith. I'll say
Yes.
it like
On a daily basis.
that. Mm-hmm.
On a daily basis. That's beautiful. So how has art leveled you emotionally?
Ooh, it has leveled me to where I don't suppress my feelings
Mm.
anymore. I used to do that a lot, and it has helped me release a lot of that pressure, a lot of
Mm.
that heaviness.
Yeah.
Those that energy, those emotions can get stuck, and so it gives me a place. The canvas is a place for it to hold that energy until I'm ready to see what it's revealing, what reflect on what it is that I need to see, what it is that I need to heal. If there's a message for me, it's not always for me though.
Right.
Sometimes it's
Right.
for others.
Yeah.
I've learned that sometimes there's like this exchange of energy happening. If things are going on in an environment, it's chaotic. I might look cool, calm, and collected on the outside, but inside I'm like, "Argh." But
Right.
I feel like
Right.
there's this calming energy being
Yeah.
exchanged. I'm taking on that other energy, but it's taught me how to release that and not hold it. I was holding it, so a lot of energy, a lot of things that was happening to me wasn't even mine.
Right. Right.
So I've learned how to transmute that.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people need to hear that because it's a skill. You
Mm-hmm.
definitely have to work on it,
Yes.
Definitely because I'm learning that myself.
Yeah. I'm
you
like,
know.
this is not me.
Right.
Because that's not your energy.
Yeah. It's
Those 3 people you were just with?
yep.
It's there.
Yep. And I'm learning it so quick to just remove myself from all situations that, the energy's bad, you got to go. It's
Yes,
time to go.
definitely.
Love y'all, but peace. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm going to switch over to your mental health. When did you realize pushing through wasn't sustainable anymore for you?
When pushing through wasn't sustainable, I remember the exact year. It was 2018. I became stressed out, burned out,
Mhm.
overwhelmed
Mhm.
from work. And there was other things going on as well, but it was a lot had to do with work. And I remember, um, actually, I'll back up a little bit. Prior to 2018, I went through kind of another little low point, and I remember one day I was dropping the kids off at daycare, and I was running late, and I was so frustrated because my kids wanted to take their precious little time getting out the car. And so I remember snatching my son, and I
Mhm.
didn't shake him, but I could feel like I just wanted to. And I was like, "Oh my God, what is happening? I feel like I'm about to hurt my child."
Wow.
And I let him go, and I just started like crying. I was like, "This is not me. What's happening?"
Mhm.
And I dropped them off, and even the daycare provider was like, "You're not yourself. What's going on? Something's wrong with you." I was, "I don't know. I feel it too." So I go to the doctor, and she listened to me. She gave me 3 months off, put me on a supplement to help.
Mhm.
She says, "I think you're really depressed."
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So the time off, I was able to do some work, did some, you know, inner wounds, family wound healing, and all that kind of stuff. Got better, went back to work. I was good. Some years go by. Now here comes 2018. I'm feeling that same thing
Mhm.
creeping up on me again. And it's like, I think it's happening again. I think I'm about to go into this depression. crying, but I'm not. I'm at work and I'm running to the bathroom in the stall, crying, trying to hide it. I'm even at home hiding it from my ex-husband, like, and then coming out like everything's fine. I'm fine, because for a long time I was like the strong one.
Right.
I'm the emotional support for other people.
Right.
With my energy and my time, I'm giving all of that. I don't have time to look after myself in
Right.
that way. So let me just tuck it away. And also, too, I learned that growing up, bless my dad's heart, but he tried to toughen me up.
Mm.
So it was like, you're tough, don't cry, So that at a young age was like, don't cry,
Right.
and I didn't think it was a weakness, but so it was hard to cry. And so when I did cry, it was ugly.
Mm.
So all of that, I was really sad. I didn't want to do anything anymore. I ended up taking some time off from work. There was a day where I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to drink anything. I just wanted to lay in the bed. And it's not like I wanted to like harm myself necessarily, but I didn't want to take care of myself.
Right.
And so this one day I just slept all day.
Mm.
I did have this meditation running, and I just remember laying in the bed like, I'm not gonna eat nothing. I'm just gonna let my body shut down. That was the mindset I was in. I'm just letting my body shut down. I don't know how long that'll take, but we'll see what happens. But then there was a part of me, my spirit was like just crying out. I was like, all I could do was just say, God help. That was the prayer that I had. I couldn't pray anything else other than God help. And so my ex-husband had came home, and I was just like, I can't do this no more. I'm just, having it. And then I was like, I need to quit my job. And he's like, hold up, wait a minute. I was like, no, I need to leave. If I don't leave, it's going to be detrimental to my health, and I ended up getting some clarity. So I kind of picked myself up a little bit. And about 3 months later, I did end up leaving. And instantly it's like I returned, back to myself. And so what I learned is that there are situations that I'm faced with where if I get too stressed out, I feel like it's a spiritual situational depression, but it's also a point where my soul is asking to evolve, and it's time for me to leave a situation.
Yeah.
I should have left a long time ago, but I was scared.
Yeah.
And so I feel like God was like, well, let me light this fire under you, because you're not going to leap unless you're pushed.
Wow.
And so it was that kind of hitting that low point in me that, I left. And then the art, that's, I went to therapy, and my therapist was like, why don't you paint?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then I felt lighter, and I felt better, and I didn't feel so stressed out. Plus I wasn't doing the work that I was doing anymore. And it just opened up so much more for me. So
Yeah, I'm glad you shared that. I had a similar situation also, with work, and it was just burnt out, stressed out, should have left way before, but just the fear and just, change and plus I was going through a lot, after the passing of my mom, and so I should have left well before that, but my body just shut down and said, nope.
And that's what
not
my body was
anymore.
doing. I was like, I'm gonna let my body shut down.
Right.
I'm tapping out.
Tapping out.
I can't do this anymore.
Yep. Yep.
But there was my spirit was like, no, not yet. It's not your time yet.
Nope.
And
You got another plan for you.
You need to muster up the little bit of strength that you have left.
Yeah.
And I remember calling my mom, and I was crying, and she was away at the time. And I'm just crying. She's like, you gotta eat. You gotta eat something. Get you some water. The water was right there on my nightstand.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it.
Right.
I don't care.
Yep.
Whatever.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling oh too well, and that's the thing is like too many of us women are suffering in silence because we got to be the strong ones.
Exactly.
We got to be the strong ones. What advice do you have for somebody suffering in silence going through the same thing?
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Ask for help.
Yes.
Ask for help. Even if you have to use that prayer that God help. God will send somebody.
Yes, he will.
To help you.
Yes, he will.
There will be there's a lifeline for you. And you're not alone. There's other people that are going through it. And I know sometimes it might be like, well, how does that help me? I'm not alone,
Right.
But I got through. I'm on the other side of it.
Yeah.
So there's still purpose in you. There's still something for you to do.
Yeah.
And I know it hurts. It's very painful. I feel like emotional pain is, often worse than physical pain.
Absolutely.
But I'm glad that a lot of work leading up to that gave me enough tools and to be able to use.
Right.
But again, it was another part of that just soul evolution. It's time for you to elevate.
Elevate.
It's time for you to leave. You should have left a long time ago. So I'm gonna push you.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here with us today to, be able to share your story
Me
because
too.
it definitely it helped me, in understanding that I wasn't the only one going through that. A lot of people go through that, but it's just like you said, you need to elevate, and God is going to show you in ways that may not look pretty.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, and in that, ended up sending, like, my friend came over, and she was like, she sat with me, and she was there to hold my hand.
Nice.
And it was like I finally was able to open up to
Mhm.
somebody, because I'm like, how are they going to help me? I'm usually
Right.
the one helping
Helping
everybody
everybody
else,
else.
you know. So I'm learning how to accept support.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm in a season of receivership, learning how to receive rather than overgive.
Yes, yes, yes. I love that. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. So, how did your body start feeling? How did your body start telling you? We just went over that question. So, when did creativity shift from expression to survival?
Hmm. I don't know if creativity was ever sur- well, I guess in that dark period of time, it was about survival. But then it turned into inspiration. It turned into, oh, this is my calling. This is what God wants me to be doing. And I can't do that sitting in this cubicle,
Right.
doing this work that doesn't mean anything to me.
Right.
And so I think that is, yeah. um, I I remember looking back and I was just like, you know, thinking of, like, when I wanted to be an actress and wanted to be a dancer and wanted to go to school for those things, but instead I went to school for more practical things. I
Right.
went to school for
Right.
business administration and
Mhm.
finance and stuff, and I hated it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even do well in it. And as I look back at my transcripts, I'm like, I did well in psychology, communication, sociology, drama, A's and B's. Economics, finance, accounting, it was like C, D. Even marketing was a D. Well, that's only because class was at 7 in the morning, so I was missing a lot of class. But
Oh wow.
so I had to repeat that. But anyway, so yeah, so I was living a life that for someone else,
Mhm.
and I was doing going down a path that wasn't for me.
Right.
It was for somebody else.
Mm.
And then once I finally realized that and had to be okay with, I might disappoint this person. I love them and I know they mean well, and I know they didn't get a chance to do those things, so they were trying to live vicariously through me,
Mhm.
but this is not for me.
Yeah.
And once I was able to do that and start shedding those parts of myself so that the true me could emerge and flourish and thrive, then things just opened up even more for me.
I love that. Yep. Things will start to align for you. Definitely, God has plan.
Yes.
For sure. For sure. So, What does creating help you release today?
Ooh, creating helps me release, like I said, it helps me release a lot of patterns.
Mm.
Um, and in the work that I'm doing now, I'm learning that a lot of these patterns, of course, are passed on, ancestral.
Yes. Yes.
I'm learning a lot about the mother line, especially, and looking
Mm.
at patterns when it
Yes.
comes to relationships. And so it's letting go of what we thought or what we saw and thought love was and what a
Mm.
relationship should be. And so and behaviors, it's helping me to release a lot of that, releasing a lot that's not even mine.
Yep.
And oh, is this my mom's, is this my grandmother's, is this my great grandmother's, and just I'm actually honored to do the work for my ancestors because they didn't
Absolutely.
have an opportunity to do this.
Right.
They just kind of had to go with the flow, and it's like, okay, the buck stops with me.
Yeah.
No.
That's breaking those chains, breaking those generational curses.
Exactly.
Unlearning and relearning a new way
Exactly.
to pass on
Mm-hmm.
for generations to come.
Yep.
I love
So
that.
the way I create is in layers, and that's kind of how the healing
Right.
works as well.
Yep.
It's a process.
Yes.
So like in that time before 2018, when I went through that depression as well, I did some work, and then when that stuff resurfaced back in 2018, I was like, I thought I dealt with that.
Right.
oh, you just scratched the surface.
Yeah. Yep.
You still got to dig a
Yep.
little bit more and get to that root. You still have some work to do. So it's like every time there was another layer of
Yeah.
healing that was happening, another wound was being accessed,
Yeah.
whether it's abandonment or rejection or comparison or being chosen or
Right.
feeling like I'm enough
Right.
or my worth,
Right.
So,
And that's the thing is like healing is a lifelong journey.
yes.
And it's something that those things are going to come back up. You work on it, they
Mhm.
might come up in different
Yeah.
ways.
And it's okay to put it on the shelf for a
Right.
little bit. Like,
Right.
look, I'm tired.
Yep. Not today.
I don't want to deal with that right now.
Yep. Yep.
And I think our relationships, whether it's friendships, whether it's romantic ships, whether it's, work ships, whatever,
Yeah.
those relationships help us do that healing work. It helps
Absolutely.
bring up some of that stuff. You'd be like, why am I always getting into it with this person? Because it's something you need to look at.
Right.
You're not just arguing just to argue.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
triggering something
I
inside of you.
yeah, I realized a lot of stuff that went on between me and my ex-husband was mirroring my caregivers.
Right.
My father and, the father wound.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Right. Right.
Oh, or even a mother wound.
Yeah.
I gotta touch on that. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, let's talk about your healing. You worked in layers, you said. So what does that teach you about healing?
Like I said, like healing is a process.
Mm-hmm.
It's not linear.
Right.
It's not like step 1, step 2, step 3. It's kind of all over the place.
Right.
But ultimately the goal is to get to that wound.
Right.
Get to the root of it so that you can heal it. You got to
Right.
feel it. If you keep pushing it away and all of that, it's just going to come back in a different way or
Yeah.
come back in a different relationship.
Yep.
It's going to come back bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
And it's to help you.
Right.
So that you can feel better, so that you can be better.
Exactly.
So yes, healing is layering and
Right.
and it happens in, like I said, in different relationships.
Yeah.
It happens with yourself.
Yeah.
The relationship with yourself. That's
Key.
right.
That's the key.
That's the important one.
Absolutely.
Starts there.
And it's just like those wounds, they don't go away. They're always going to be there, but it's how you deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to start being more gentle with yourself the more you work on it. And the more it's there right in your face, you're
Right.
like you can talk to yourself and be like, not today.
Right.
Not
right.
today.
Like you said, be gentle.
Be gentle.
When you get triggered,
Yep.
oof. But again, it's there to help you.
Right.
Depending on how you look at it, your perspective.
Absolutely. And hopefully with healing, you're going to have a greater perspective of,
Right.
dealing with yourself gently.
Yeah. And even when I was thinking about overgiving, and I didn't realize, I probably overgave with my time and my energy and my emotional support, but also overgiving my energy to even on social media. Maybe I'm on somebody's page too much. I'm giving too much of my energy there.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Right. We all fall victim of that,
Yeah.
what do they call it? The doom scrolling.
Let me call my energy back.
Right, right,
come
right.
back home, Tasha.
Yep.
Come back home.
Yes.
You just scattered all out there. I
Yep.
need you back.
Oh yeah, that's a good reminder.
Yes.
That is definitely a good reminder. So, what happens when you listen to the art instead of forcing it?
Ooh, something beautiful happens. Something
Mhm.
beautiful emerges. I used to, because I'd be excited.
Mhm.
I see something emerging in the art, and so that impatient kicks in, and I'm like, okay, what is this? What is this?
Yeah.
And it was like, no, not yet. I can do a painting maybe in a couple hours and it'll be done, or I can take weeks and months or years to finish a painting. So just really I listen through my body and how I feel. So if I get that ping inside, then I'm like, ooh, yes. And I like when I do a mark and then I see something and then I feel it. I'm like, ooh, that's good.
Like that.
So it's taught me to really listen and be patient. And like we were talking about the messy middle, enjoy the messy part. There was this one particular painting that I was working on, and it started off, I had an idea in mind. And if you were to look at how it started to how it ended up, you'd be like, these are two completely different paintings. And I got in that messy middle, and I was frustrated because I wanted it to be something now.
Right.
And it was like, no. So I waited a couple of days, and then I went back to it, and it started off with these orange and yellows and stuff. I went back with this dark blue, and just painted all over it.
Mm.
But it left a little bit at the bottom where it kind of looked like fire, like amber at the bottom. And I was like, oh, we're on to something. And Spirit was like, see?
I love that. I love that for you.
See? Just wait. You know,
Yes.
something good is coming. You just got to take your time. So I've really learned to listen to the work,
Okay.
listen to my soul. It's this beautiful conversation that I'm having between my soul and the energy and God. It's like an alchemy and a beautiful dance and
Yes.
communion. So,
Yes.
yeah, it's a spiritual practice for me.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
It is. It's beautiful too.
When I force it, it doesn't come out right. So,
Right.
yeah.
And then you get frustrated.
Even more.
And then you stop doing it. I do that with writing. I'm like, I'm just not going to do it right now. But
Start
then when you come
pouting.
back, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, definitely.
Yes.
How has honoring your emotions changed how you are now?
Honoring my emotions has helped me be more honest and gentle with myself, and also learn how to set boundaries.
Yes.
And I learned more about setting boundaries in 2022. And so it was, and asking for support. So that helped a lot, especially the setting boundaries. It's like, it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can't show up for someone, it's okay.
Right.
You know, I never wanted people to be, I didn't want to disappoint people. I don't want to let people down.
Right.
You know, but in doing so, I'm letting myself down. I'm abandoning myself.
Right.
I can't do that for the sake of another, you know. And so I learned how to do that, and I'm still learning, and I'm still practicing, and I believe I'm being put in situations and experiences to help me practice and become better at it.
Yeah.
I don't always get it right, but
Right.
you know, I'm learning.
Yeah, we all learning, work in progress for sure.
Yes.
So, speaking of boundaries, how has holding space for others supported your healing?
You know, connection and purpose and being able to serve. Because for a while, you know, I remember like journaling back in 2011, 2013, I kept asking God, like, what is my purpose?
Right.
What am I supposed to do? You know, I feel like working in the church, working with the youth, that was purposeful. That was something. But I was like, I feel like there's something more that I'm supposed to be doing. And so when I started painting and holding painting experiences for people and holding space and seeing how it's helping them be able to talk about things or put something on the canvas and it doesn't have to look pretty.
Right.
It gave me that connection, that relationship. Again, like we talked about, we're not, you know, a lot of people are going through some of the same things, you know? And so it really fortified what my purpose is and how I'm here to serve. And it's to help others heal and transform and transmute that pain into joy and peace and love and happiness and just holding space for people in a safe way.
In a safe way, right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the purpose.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. So, where have you had to learn boundaries as a leader with creating those spaces? Because you got to show up, like you have to be there.
You know what? I really, or some wood. I really haven't had to in the creative space and holding these spaces. Had to really, hasn't been a boundary issue yet. Okay. Hopefully not. But
yeah, no, I mean, it's all, like you said, we're all a work in progress. And, you know, if you're already solid in your systems and creating, you know, what works best for you, then you don't have to put those boundaries.
But it might come up because I am working on some things. You know, I want to do some one-on-one work. And so that might become a place where I will have to practice that boundary in the work that I do for others. But so far, it's been okay.
That's a blessing. That is a true blessing. So
maybe the more is the boundary with myself.
Right.
Because
and that could be true.
Right. Because it's like, you know, I remember when I first started out being an entrepreneur, you know, there was a lot of people that were talking about like setting a schedule, like on this day, do this. And I just can't flow like that.
No.
That's too much. Like that structure doesn't work for me.
Right.
So I was like, I tried it, but it didn't work. And I understand the premise behind it, but it just didn't work for me.
Right.
So, but I had to, because sometimes I can be up at 2 a.m. and get I'm working, I'm going at it. And then maybe it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I need to take a nap. You know, I don't feel like doing any work. So I guess when it comes to boundaries in that way with myself,
yes,
you know, giving myself time to go with the flow, create when I want to create, and then taking that rest period when I need to take that rest
Yes,
period.
very important.
Yeah.
That's very important. So, what does nervous system care look like for you?
Definitely painting
Mm.
and music and dancing, all those combined at the same time. And then also, I really like, because I can't always get to the canvas, can't always get the paints out and everything like that. So another go-to for me is tapping, emotional freedom technique.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, like that really helps calm my nervous system. I can just easily just start doing that. And meditation, but movement,
Yes.
music, and tapping
I
are
love
like my
that.
kind of quick go-to nervous system regulation when I need something right away. Because sometimes I'll have a feeling, I don't know why I have that feeling. It's a nervous feeling. It's like nothing happened, but and then later on I learn why I had that, but it hurts.
Right. In the moment, it definitely.
Right. And I'm
Right.
like, what is this feeling?
Right.
So just to kind of calm myself down, I'm safe, I'm okay, but I'm like, what's about to happen? What's about to erupt? So that definitely helps. And then I love scents. So like essential oils,
Okay. That's good.
is definitely good as well.
That's a good one.
And then nature.
Yes. Always nature.
Yeah.
Definitely nature. Definitely. Definitely. So, what does gentle healing mean to you?
Gentle healing. Being kind to yourself, and how you talk to yourself, and how you pretty much how you treat yourself.
Yes.
The same care that I'm going to extend to somebody else, I need to do that for me. And there was this one period where I think I was like pulling cards or something like that, and the card that came up was like about being enough. And I was like, that's coming up a lot. So I asked, I was like, why do I not think that I'm enough? And it was like, because you give more love to everybody else than you do yourself.
Right.
And it hit me like right here. And I go, ouch.
Yeah.
Oh, well, how am I not loving myself? And so it just started to like, you ready? Yeah, you ready for this? You want to know how
Right.
you're not?
Right.
And so when I saw all the ways of how I would be with other people, but I wasn't extending that same to myself, I was like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
So being kind, loving myself, and the same way I'm going to treat someone else, that I need to extend that same to myself.
Yeah, we forget about that, especially being mothers.
Yes.
Yes. Because we always, you got to put your kids first in front of everything, or your partner in front of everything.
And that's what I was taught growing up, but
right.
now I'm like, no. You lied to me.
Yep. No, not anymore.
No,
right.
I need to be first because
Yes.
how can I show up for them?
I love that.
If I'm like on exhaust, if I'm on fumes.
Yeah.
And so, but it took a while to learn that. And even now that my kids are adults, I'm like,
we unlearning.
Yes.
That's those generational,
like
those
you can do it.
Yep.
I
done taught you well.
Right.
Put
not
those
always
skills
answering the phone all the time.
definitely. So, what do you hope that listeners take with them after this conversation?
Like kind of what we were just talking about being kind to yourself and loving yourself. Also knowing that giving yourself permission to heal.
Yes.
And that healing isn't linear, and it's okay not to be okay. You don't have to always be the hero. You can put your cape. My aunt would say that to me. Girl, take your cape off.
right.
And and that art and movement and reflection is a beautiful creative outlet.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful healing practice.
Absolutely.
And I just want to be able to share this healing practice with as many people as I can, to show them another way to do this work.
Yes.
Thank
you so much. Thank you for sharing those spaces. So thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for holding safe spaces for people to be able to tap into their creative side. What events do you have coming up, and where can people find you?
Okay. Well, thank you, Jamie, for doing this, having this space for us to have these conversations.
Absolutely.
Through conversation, we learn, we help others heal.
Absolutely.
Someone might say something and be like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. Or, oh, I'm connecting with that person, that's resonating. So thank you for the work that you're doing.
Yes. You're welcome.
I have a paint and sip experience coming up on Friday, February 13th. At 6 p.m. It's going to be at Smudge Nail Bar.
That's next Friday.
Yes. 1831 Exposition Boulevard. The
Yes.
beautiful Roberta owns the space, and it's a beautiful space. So we still have some tickets left. You can find the ticket link at my bio on Instagram, which is Tasha underscore Nicole. That's Nichole underscore art. And then I also have another immersive art experience that I'm working on. I haven't marketed it yet, but it's in the works, and it's going to be a beautiful event, and it's going to be a beautiful space, which is going to incorporate art and movement and live music and spoken word. So
I love
stay
that.
tuned for that.
Yes, I love that. I love it. And you have a website, right?
Yes. You know what? I'm a little, just go to my Instagram.
Okay, Instagram. Okay, there we go. There we go.
Because my website has MailChimpSites.com something, so it's just easier to get to my website
Okay.
if you go to my Instagram.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We all working in progress.
Yes.
You know, we all out here trying to get it. So thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you so very
I've
much. I
enjoyed this so
appreciate
much.
you. Yes, 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 yes. So until next time, stay grounded. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Keep the conversation going on mental health. We want to bring more awareness, and check yourself, check your mental health.